Welcome to our first weekly press conference with Akron head coach Tom Arth. This week, Akron opens the 2019 season at Illinois on Saturday, August 31st at Memorial Stadium. Kickoff is noon Eastern, which is 11 a.m. Central Time, and the game will be aired on the Big Ten Network. Coach, would you like to start with an opening statement?
Sure. First of all, thank you to everybody for being here. Really appreciate everybody taking the time to come and see us and all of the coverage. It means a lot to our players and to our players' families and just our program and university in general. So thank you all for everything you do to help us get the University of Akron out to the public. Very excited to be here and to be at the beginning of our season. It's been a long 8 months, but it's been a great 8 months since we first arrived here in mid-December, and the growth that we've seen in our team and in our players, really in every aspect, not just from a football standpoint, but more importantly, their character and the way that they compete, on the field, off the field, in the classroom. It's just been so exciting for us to be a part of and to witness, and really just proud of this group. Regardless of what happens on Saturday, what happens, what our record is. I am so proud of this team. I'm so proud of this group of players. They have done everything the right way, and they have put themselves in position to be very successful this season.
Would you like to start?
You're going to learn something real quick. I generally tend to ask the occasional strange question, and here's a strange question. You've been through this before, but are you nervous, first of all? And how different is this from past experiences for you?
Well, I certainly have going into my seventh year as a head coach, and I remember my first game as a head coach, and I was very nervous. It was also the first time that I was calling a game offensively, so there was just a lot of different thoughts going through my head, and was extremely nervous. Honestly, I feel at peace. I really do. I feel really confident in what we've done these past 8 months and really building the foundation of our program. And I feel confident in our preparation. And, I'm really at peace right now. I feel great about our team. I feel great about our players. And I know one thing. I know we're going to go out there and we're going to play with great effort. We're going to play with a great competitive desire. And to me, that is the most important thing. So I do feel really good heading into this season.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about, about the offense? I know I talked to you last week. There's a little inconsistency. Are things starting to come around right now in game week or not?
It has been, Joe. It really has. We've kind of battled that consistency from spring practice. Really, going one day, on fire, making big plays, executing at a high level, to the next day looking like we never played football before. And I think, that kind of continued throughout spring. It got better in fall camp, but it was still a little up and down. We had better highs, not quite as low of lows. But I do think the last week of training camp so far, today and the start of this week, has been really good. It's been competitive, both sides of the ball, back and forth, and there's been a consistency to what we're doing. So it's encouraging. It really is. Now we'll see how we come back tomorrow, and if we can continue to practice at the level we did today, then that'd be great.
What accounts for your confidence, number one? And number two, who's going to be calling the offense?
Well, I think that my confidence really goes back to, again, our players, the effort that they've put in, the way that they've prepared, the discipline that they've showed, just everything that they've done, since the time that we met them in January really gives me a lot to be confident about. They've exceeded my expectations in just about every way imaginable, and I think and I hope that we exceed the expectations that that people have for us as a team this year.
Who's going to call the offense?
It's really a team effort, in everything that we do, and there'll be times where we come together and just we're making decisions as to what plays we're running based on what we feel gives us the best opportunity to be successful. So there'll be times where I'll ask Z, hey, what do you got here, Z? What do you like? And He'll call it. There'll be times where I'll ask Coach Gasser, what do you like here? And, he'll give us a great idea. So, really far less important who's calling it, but, most importantly that we're calling it, with the mindset of putting our players in the best position to be successful, and that all starts with our quarterback, making sure that he's confident in the plays, confident in what's coming in, that he can go out and execute it, and that those plays are designed to get our best players the ball.
Coach, I spoke to you yesterday on the teleconference, and I forgot to ask you about the running game. The last few years, mostly out of the spread formation. How have you started to try and you wanted to use the one back, maybe some two back, and other types of using that running back in the backfield? How has that worked out as we've gone through camp and getting ready for the Illini?
It's gone well. I think really you could look at a lot of different groups on our team, different position groups on our team, and see some groups that have made some really great strides and improvements from spring practice until now. And I don't know if there's a group that's made more improvement than our offensive line. I have to give Coach Zagorski a lot of credit in developing those players, but also give that group, each individual player, a lot of credit for the hard work and the commitment that they've put in. We feel that is an area on our team that that we're going to rely on, that we need to rely on. Our offensive line is the heart and soul of our program, certainly the heart and soul of our offense, and we will go as they go. So it'll be important for us to establish a running attack. I played quarterback. So I know, number one, your best friend is a great defense. Behind that is a great running game. No quarterback wants to go out there and feel the weight of the world on his shoulders and know, hey, we got to go score 50 points a game to have a chance, or I got to drop back and throw it 50 times a game to be successful. We need to play great defense. We need to run the football to allow our quarterbacks to be as successful as they're capable of being. So we hope that's a strength for our team this year.
Tom, before you took the job, obviously, the schedule was set. You knew Illinois was the first game of the season. So, the process you talked about a little bit, getting hired, going through everything you've gone through, the recruiting, getting all your guys in here, building your staff. Has it sort of sunk in for you, like first game week's finally here, and have you taken kind of a second to just sort of reflect on that and realize all the work you put in has led to this, and now you get to go out on the field and show it?
Yeah, it's been interesting because we have put so much work in, and I'll be honest, for me, I started thinking about Illinois on Sunday. There wasn't a whole lot of time to really worry about the season. There wasn't a whole lot of time to worry about our games and our schedule and all those things. We've been so focused on everything else, on the things that, we hope are the most important things that will allow us to be successful this season. But, honestly, it's come on me so fast. I haven't really had a chance to reflect on it. It's been, a little bit more reactive. You kind of just getting yourself right back into that swing of a game week and an in-season schedule and in-season mode. And it's exciting because, we all love the process of preparation. We all love, getting out there and practicing every day and working on our craft. But at the end of the day, you play this game for those Saturdays, for those competitive moments where you have an opportunity, to go out there with your team, with the group of men that you've sacrificed so much with, that you've been through so much with, and to have that one moment, those 3 hours, every Saturday that you can look to and say, you know what, this is what it's all about, and you get to go out there and compete, at the highest level, is really exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that game day feel, the feeling that you have, the competitive feel that you have inside of you, and I'm excited for our players to have that, and I'm excited to find out how we respond. We've told our team, we've been through some things, and we've had some tough times, we've had some tough conversations, and we've had some guys that have battled through injuries, and we've had some bad days at practice. Whatever the case is, we've had some adversity, but we're going to find out on Saturday, just how tight we are, just how close of a team we are, by how we respond to those situations, because it's not a question of if we're going to face adversity, it's just how is it going to show itself? Is it going to show itself in an injury? Is it going to show itself in getting down early? Is it going to show itself in getting up early, because in some cases, that success can be adversity, and it can, create some complacency. So, it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to learn more about our team. But like I said, they've exceeded my expectations in every other facet, and I anticipate more of the same this weekend.
Coach, you've got a lot of new guys on defense, guys you brought in late before 2 days started. Are you satisfied with the way the defense sits right now for you?
I feel a lot better about our depth on the defensive side of the ball. Absolutely, at defensive back, we were able to sign a number of freshmen that have contributed at a really high level for us through fall camp, and that we expect to contribute for us on Saturday, whether that's on special teams or defensively. We expect that group to be strong for us. Linebacker, Demetric Watts has come in and has added some depth and added a lot of value to our team. And defensive line was a lot like the secondary, just really limited numbers, and we feel we're at a point right now where we have a really solid rotation of players at the defensive line position, which is so critical, much like the offensive line is to the offense. Defensive line is critical to being a great defense, how we play up front. So, I do feel a lot better about our depth, on the defensive side of the ball.
A lot of these guys have faced a Big Ten team. Last year, they beat Northwestern. But what do you say to them heading into this game this weekend?
Trust your technique and training. Really is kind of the first thing that we started off with this morning with our players. It's game one. It's a game whether you're playing a Big Ten opponent or any other opponent. It really makes no difference. We're not asking our players to go out there and have some sort of out-of-body experience and do something that they've never done before. Like, we're just asking them to go do what they do at practice every single day. Yeah, we're going to make mistakes just like we make at practice, and we're going to come back and we're going to correct them, and we're going to go out there and we'll be better. We're going to make plays. We're going to do some great things. Okay? And we're going to come back. We're going to celebrate it, and then we got to go out and do it again. Right? So, just do what we do every single day. Trust our preparation. Trust the process that we take every single day, and just go out there and execute the way that you execute at practice. Don't do anything outside your job description. Don't do anything that you've not asked to do. Just do what we do every single day.
Hey, Coach. Lovie Smith has taken over their defense this year, which they were not very good defensively last year. But the question being, of course, obviously the first game, and you've been through these before, the first game of a new season. How do you prepare for that from trying to figure out what they might do, or do you just worry more about yourself?
Well, I think, they were very young last year on defense, and they have a lot of players returning, really on both sides of the ball, but especially on defense. So, sometimes when you have a young defense out there, you're playing against some of the best competition in the country. It's easy to sit back and watch it on film or watch it on TV and say, hey, it wasn't, very good defense. But they were young, and they learned a lot. They gained a lot of really invaluable experience playing and making mistakes and overcoming those mistakes. And, certainly with a coach like Lovie Smith, he's as good as they come, on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm sure that he's going to have them ready to go and playing at an extremely high level. And the second part of your question, that's really, part of, the second thing that we talk about with the team is just, that ability to adjust, to be ready to adjust. It's game one, and we're a new staff. We got a new group of players. They have some changes on their staff, different things, new players. So we have to be ready to go in there and and to make adjustments. Whether that's on the sideline between series, if that's at halftime, just ability to apply our rules to what we're seeing across from us, and just again trust the training, trust the preparation, and all the work that we've put in. These last 8 months. There's a reason why we practice the way we practice. There's a reason why we put so much emphasis on that, is so that we don't have to change. We don't have to do anything different from practice to game, or from training camp to the season. Like, how we prepare, how we practice, it's consistent, and we expect the same effort and the same level of competitiveness on game day.
Coach, when we taped the TV show yesterday, you talked a lot about Sean Featherstone having a great summer. So some other players that have jumped up and surprised you since spring ball that have really come on for you?
You know, yeah, Sean is certainly one of those individuals who's had an outstanding training camp. I think you look at the offensive line, Landon Foreman, who was out most of spring, really limited to some individual drills where you could really see the ability, you could see some potential there, but never being in a competitive drill, there was still some uncertainty. But he's had a fantastic camp. You could kind of go on and on, really throughout the team. Robbie Kelly, quarterback, for us, battling back, from some injuries from the year previous, was not 100% in spring, and he's had an outstanding fall camp for our team. So I think, just really overall, the improvements that we've seen in the program and in the players individually and offense, defensively, special teams has been really positive. It's hard to really kind of single out any one person, but I think just more cumulatively as a group, I think we've made a lot of progress.
Have you been able to look at any film on Brandon Peters, and what's the challenge in preparing for someone who probably doesn't have a lot of film?
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes back to what we said. I mean, we just have to be out there, and we have to be able to apply our rules. And Brandon is a talented football player. He's a big, strong-armed, really prototypical, quarterback. You think about a Big Ten quarterback. I mean, that's kind of what you're thinking about there with him. And yeah, we've been able to watch some film and get a chance to get a feel for his game. And it'll be interesting to see how his skill set affects that offense and how they adjust to him, if they adjust to him. What their plan is to play the freshmen and any wildcat situations that they get into. So there's a lot of unknown, and it adds to it when you have a new quarterback that hasn't been there and hasn't been in that system. It just adds to that to that unknown. So again, we have to really focus in on what our responsibilities are, what our technique is that we're coached to play, and go out there and execute it at the highest level and be ready to make adjustments mid-game, mid-series, for us to be successful.
Yes. Do you I got to look at the depth chart already. Do you anticipate many true freshmen? You talk about 8 months of camp. Well, obviously a lot of your freshmen have been here for 1 month, or some came during the summer. But do you anticipate many true freshmen getting a shot here early in the season? Or
I do. I think there'll be a number of freshmen that will play for us in multiple roles. Certainly contributing in big ways on special teams. But also offensively and defensively. I think when you look at a roster, it's about a quarter of your team, and quarter of your players on scholarship are going to be freshmen. And for us to be as good as we're capable of being, some of those guys are going to have to play, and some of them are going to play because that they're ready, and they're the best guy in whatever role that is. Others are playing because of necessity, because of depth issues, or whatever the case is. So everybody is going to have to step up and understand what their role is, embrace it, and be the best they can be in that role.
Also, and I'm sorry, I'm not more familiar with your timeline exactly. Were you on the Colts Super Bowl team?
I was not.
You were not?
I
Okay.
was not, no.
Okay.
No, that was...
Because Lovie Smith obviously was
That's right.
coaching the other team.
Yeah, no, that was the year after.
Oh.
My last year was in 2005, where we had a really, really great team and lost, unfortunately, in a really close game against the Steelers in the playoffs. But I did not stick around for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Any other questions?
I don't want to say you were evasive this spring about it, but you didn't. It's official now. Alvin Davis is at cornerback. why the switch from safety for him, and what's he bringing to that
You
position?
must know something that I don't know, George.
What do you mean?
He,
On the depth chart.
on the depth chart?
Yes.
Is that what he's listed as?
That's what he's listed as.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it. This is actually probably the first time Kathy's got it in front of me. So, but yeah, but hey, that's what he's listed as. You're right.
That's a great answer.
That's it.
Yeah, Alvin's gonna play. Alvin is a great football player. He really is. He's a guy that, you know, as a coach, like you get out to practice and he knows where he's supposed to be. He understands the system. He understands what he's going against. He can play anywhere. Alvin can play. Alvin can be a starting corner for us. He could be a starting safety. He can play in the slot. He can do it all. So, you know, I think that, you know, for us to be as good as we can be, Alvin's going to have to play in multiple roles for us this season. You know, it's inevitable. You're in different personnel groupings. There's going to be injuries, and you know, we're going to need guys to be able to step up and to fill different roles. So, you know, we hope that he does a lot for us this season.
You've obviously been coached long enough to develop a game day routine for yourself. I'm sure it's evolved over time as well, from John Carroll to Tennessee to here. What is just sort of walk us through your ideal game day routine leading up to a game?
Well, you know, a lot of it depends on the time of the game. You know, time of the kickoff. This weekend, it's an early kickoff for us. So you kind of get up, and, you know, moving around early, and you know, want to try to get, you know, some sort of workout in, get out for a jog. You know, kind of clear your mind, and, you know, let some things kind of come to you, and, you know, go through some thoughts in your head. You know, and then we get back, and, you know, we'll have mass or a chapel service and breakfast, and really just kind of, you know, focus in on you know, on the game, and, you know, really what's my responsibility, you know, and what is my job, you know, on Saturday, and really focusing in on that, because, you know, so much throughout the week you're really, you know, helping to support your assistant coaches, you're helping to support your players, and making sure that everybody understands their role and what they need to do to be successful. So, you know, really that Friday, Saturday for me is just like, okay, like what is my job? You know, what is my responsibility? How can I put our team, you know, in the best position to be successful? You know, and you go through the different situations that could come up, and how you want to handle them, and you know, all those things. But, you know, I think, you know, a lot of it is really just, you know, trying to be at peace, you know, and really trusting your plan, trusting the preparation and all the work that you put in. I think it's really easy as a coach to just, you know, constantly like overthink things and try to think about, okay, well, you know, what if this doesn't work? What if, you know, it's important, right? I mean, we always got to be thinking that way, but at the same time too, like, you have to have an ability to trust what you've seen on film. You have to have that ability to trust the work that you put in, you and your assistant coaches and the team, and, you know, just relax, you know. And it's not about me anymore. Like, it's about our players. It's about the 11 guys out there, you know, playing for Akron. And you know, it's important to remember that as a coach, and to make sure that everything that we're doing is all geared to those 11 players being put in the best possible position to succeed. So, you know, that's really my job on Saturday. You know, I take a, you know, much, you know, kind of a step back. I'm very involved in practice, very active, very animated at practice, and, you know, Saturdays come around, and it's about our players, and you know, letting them go out there and you know, do what they're capable of doing.